Yay!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another train wreck known as Dave Producing or Even Strength, whichever one works best for you. I'm the Bear Shark here with the whoop whoop. No, you threw me off with the birthday boy. Sam, the natural, is in the house, everybody. No pies tonight. Well, you never know. What's up, Sammy?
Well, I'm very, very pleased to be able to go from this to this.
Wow.
And officially say, I feel pretty, so pretty. It's hockey season, baby.
You know, what did we have to wait? It was 6.5 years for this day to come?
Feels like it.
Oh,
it
dude,
took so long.
I've been dying for this. Like, the worst part about it is like you've already gotten into hockey season, but I haven't got, like, the Rangers really aren't showing Traverse City that much. So I've been catching it on news and this and that, and I'm dying for this week because on my birthday they decided to give me my first preseason game and it's not televised. It's like, they're killing me.
That's just so rude.
It's
Who
not
do we
right.
have to talk to get the game on?
It's like, hey, happy birthday, Dave, but at the same time, so.
But you get the Islanders game on every channel.
Yeah, that's only because Chara retired. So, it's like, but hockey season is back. Could not be happier. Yesterday, you had your birthday. You were calling the game. It was hilarious. So that was a lot of fun. And for those of you who don't know the I Feel Pretty reference, really? You weren't there? Like, that was amazing. So that was actually really funny. So welcome into everybody. Yeah, and welcome in everybody. It's great to be back with you guys. We're going to start getting back on a regular schedule with Even Strength. With the summer, to be honest with you, news dried up a little bit, and Sam got sick. I got sick. There was some things that just was like, hey, you can only make fun of the Coyotes. Well, that's not true. We can make fun of the Coyotes every week, but you can't draw it out into a show. So we're back and ready to go, baby. So anyway. So you did a double header not that long ago.
We did. It was a weekend header. Before we get into that, let's welcome all of our fine folks.
Don't do it.
Okay,
they're not here. Don't tell them. You have a ton of people in your chat. Say hello to everybody. Hello, everybody.
Yeah. What's up, everyone? Derek, how's it going? Texas Hockey Cards. What's up, Mike Howe? Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Dallas in the house. Dina B. What's up? And what's up? How's it going? Amy V, glad to see you. Blair, buddy, hello there. Gator Ghost, what's up? By the way, Gator, you're going to get your own redeem. You don't know it yet, but it's coming. Ooh. Just saying. Jacob, what's up? Lucas, how's it going? So glad to see everybody here today to talk some puck.
Wow, I'm so happy I heard that right. So we are... Let's drop the puck and get to it. So obviously it is hockey season. We are back at it. Ranger games coming at you guys. What? Said Gator Ghost. So that's a cool thing that you're doing for everybody. Family friendly, Dave. I didn't say it. Your husband did. And so you've got Maple Leaf on the mind. So you did a doubleheader though.
We did. So we kicked off this past weekend, Traverse City. Again, thanks to you because I didn't even think about it. And you had mentioned it and I wasn't going to do it. And all of a sudden there was this big buzz. And we jumped in on, I don't remember which day it was, but it was the second day of the tournament. I think it was Friday night. Toronto, St. Louis Blues. And listen, the Blues kicked our butts. But it was awesome. We had a great crowd with us watching some hockey. We got to see a lot of our young prospects, Alex Steves, Nick Robertson, Gugliov, so many guys that were just so great to watch. And then followed up on the Monday, the morning game. How often can you say that? A morning game of hockey, 11 a.m. And we had a whole lot of fun there, going head-to-head against the Queen's Remembrance Celebration. So not a battle you want to choose to go against. God save the Queen and King, but there was hockey on.
So is it too early for the Americans to say hip chip? Never mind. So Texas Hockey Card just put in, did the Bruins do their big unveil yet? Is that the one-day signing of Chara so he can come back and retire?
That would be a big unveiling. He is 6'9".
He's a monster. But it's funny because while reading about it, I think there's two things that's really stood out to me. The first thing is number one, Chara being 45 years old, as tall, as big as he is, playing for as long as he did, the accolades that he had, and then looking at the fact that Suban, who you all know how much I love Suban.
Yeah, you got the autographed jersey just behind you.
Well, yeah, I actually burned it. It's out in the yard. So the thing that cracks me up is 33 years old, not a lot of accolades, and everybody's making a bigger deal about Suban retiring than Chara. And I was like, Chara's 45 years old. The guy played a tremendous amount of hockey. He was captain of the Bruins. He has all kinds of accolades. Suban sucks. And I was like, how they're even putting it in the same thing. But and I forgot that this happened to Yandle, but he got benched for one game and they broke his Ironman streak, even though he wasn't hurt. And it always upsets me when you break an Ironman streak because Kessel's going to beat him in 7 games. And what bothers me about it is there should have, because it was in April. So he had the rest of the season. He had, there were games that he could have played that he could have kept going. And it really makes me wonder, is that part of the reason he retired? Because the Ironman streak is broken. He goes with no cup, no tournaments, no anything. He has no real accolades other than, 3-time all-star, player, but that's about it. So, and he's a former Coyote, as Texas just put in, which, nowadays you don't even want to put on your resume. So I just thought that out of the three of them that are retiring, and they made such a big deal about it because they're like, 8.5 hours apart, they all retired. Chara is 45 years old. Like, okay, good. And you know what? He's a hell of a hockey player. He was great for his club. And I look at Yandle, he was an incredible blue liner. He just could not get on a team to get it right. But Suban, really? Like, we're going to make a big deal out of Suban? It's going to go be a broadcaster.
This is exactly the way to start this show, because this is the big breaking news just coming out. And I'm kind of with you. Like, it's great that Boston signs Chara, gives him the one-day contract, let him retire as a Bruin. Classy thing to do. It drives me nuts because officially, now that Chara has retired, there is no active NHL player that the Leafs have beaten in the playoffs. so that hurt. Chara was the last one.
Hold on. Do I have this on eCam? Hold on a second. I got to see if I do. All right. So Sam gets a penalty for Sam's facts, everybody. When Sam comes at me with things nobody on earth knows and throws me off, and now I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's official. There are no active NHL players who have lost a playoff series to the Maple Leafs. Well, that's going to change this year, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. But that's the only thing that really irks me about Chara retiring. Good for him. We knew it was coming. He kind of got that feeling, still performed well. It wasn't that he didn't perform. He couldn't keep up with the play. He did okay, but at his age, at his size, listen, the body wears down quite a lot. So good for him to kind of go out on his own terms instead of forcing one more and having to get hurt. And,
who does he think he is? Jaromir Jagr?
Yeah, exactly. And with PK, I mean, we've kind of said it the last couple of seasons. This guy fell from grace and fell hard. He rode his wave. He was doing well, and he just had a horrible season. Was horrendous. The rumors are out there. Where is he going to go? I know there was a lot of rumors about him coming to Toronto and play. We were kind of saying, not sure we want him.
And the
we have
Islanders.
enough terrible defense, and the Islanders, who they'll take anybody these days. So good. Listen, yeah, tough choice. He had to retire. Be right. He's going to work for some Canadian broadcasting network. He'll have
I think it's already
a
done.
career booth. Is it already done?
Yeah, I think because they were talking about it when he was doing the playoffs this past year. And like he was coming in for segments. I think it's a done deal. I think he already knew it. I think that's why he's retiring. I think it's at least in part of why he's retiring. And the other thing is when you're known as Slewfoot Suban, might be that everybody's gunning for you because, hey, look, I don't think Pillow Hands has got it in him to actually drop the gloves this year. As a matter of fact, he's probably going to use those gloves to sleep on him on the bench. But if there was somebody who I would target if I was Pillow Hands, it would have been Suban for 3 Ranger injuries this year. So
yeah. So that's crazy. And a Yandle, I think part of it, you're right. He was playing to win, obviously wasn't going to win, gets his streak broken, and he kind of said, well, the heck with it. What am I playing for?
Right.
I'm not going to be on a winning team. I don't have my record, so it's just, again, let's call it quits on my own terms and go and do something else.
It's really disheartening because the truth is Keith Yandle's a hell of a hockey player. And he's only 35 or 36 years old. And, to be perfectly honest with you, he still has a couple of good years of hockey left. And I look at it and I go, it's kind of like when Eli Manning got his broken. Does it just kind of break your heart because you were capable of playing, but the coach benched you? And if I remember correctly, it was much like the Eli situation where it was an interim coach. And it's like, did they have it out for him or whatever the case may be? But I think that there almost has to be an asterisk next to his name where it's like, it wasn't due to injury, and it's not like he's not an Iron Man. He never missed a game. And even though he was sidelined because the coach did it, I don't think, I kept an eye on him. He was a Ranger. He was a good Ranger too. But I watched him last year. He wasn't at the top of his game. Did he deserve to be benched? No. They shouldn't have broken his streak. They should have put him on there and just cut his minutes. Because what did you put in his place? A 10-year-old that, basically had, no skill? Keith Yandle's still better than that. And
100%.
You could have put him at the end of the bench. You didn't have to humiliate him. He probably continues to go on this year and continues to play at a respectable level. I don't know. I was surprised, to be perfectly honest with you, that instead of retiring, the Rangers didn't take a run at him because we need, we have all kinds of things going on our blue line right now. And I was surprised that, some of the garbage that we've had come in for PTOs, Yandle was a better choice.
Yep, for sure. And, it's funny, here's a day where arguably you have 3 all-stars at one point retire. You have another all-star sign the richest contract in NHL history. Nathan MacKinnon, what was it, 12 years at some ridiculous, 12 years, 8 years at $12 million. Get your numbers right, Sam.
That's okay.
That's why I'm pretty. No brains. So 8 years at $12 million. He makes just a couple $100,000 above McDavid. Now, do you think MacKinnon is worth more than McDavid? Yeah, I'm kind of in that boat. I don't think so. So it's going to be real interesting to see how this is going to play out now because he signs this big deal. Guess who's going to be a free agent very, very soon? Connor McD. And so is McD going to sign for even more money in Edmonton?
Well, he has to. Let's be perfectly honest. This is the stupidity we were talking about last year. When I sat there and I said these contracts at times get out of hand. Think about, I'll put it into 3 perspectives for you. The first one would be from Colorado. Why? Did you have to pay him this much money? No.
Yep.
All right.
No hometown discount.
Did he demand it and this and that, saying, I want to be the highest paid player? He's making 12.6 over 8 years, $100 million. Okay, great. But you have almost no chance in next year having a team. Because what they just did, they just cash strapped their team. And I think it's a huge mistake. I don't think he's not in McDavid's caliber. So then aspect number 2 is let's talk about McDavid. As you said, he's going to be a free agent. So how hard is it for him to get 12.7? All right. Now he's the highest paid. And you get to a place where you finally sit there and go, this is just stupid. And the third point that I would point out is at what point does the market reset? Like we've been looking at,
Yep.
We've been looking at, these ridiculous contracts. The funny part about it is if you look at the rest of the league is doing some normal signings. Okay. What people are actually worth. 4 million here, 5 million there, entry level contracts, 1.2s. I just don't see this. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand how we can get to a place where, okay, you won a cup. You're really good. Okay, I get that. But are you number one player in the NHL good? No.
Yep. It's completely wild. And somebody said it in the chat. I think it was Texas Hockey Cards. And hey, AAU, what's going on, buddy?
Hey,
Austin Matthews is going to be a free agent in 2 years. And everybody in the media here in Toronto all day at their golf tournament yesterday has been asking him, are you staying? Are you staying? Are you signing? And all he said is, I'm not answering this all year long. I'm not having this conversation all year long. Okay. I love Toronto. It's my home. It's my family's home. This is where I want to play. And that's kind of all he said to the media. For sure, Toronto wants to get a deal done this year, get him that extension and keep him here so they don't have to worry about the drama. But I guarantee you when he signs, it's going to be something ridiculous. He will be the highest paid player, and it wouldn't shock me if we're talking in the realm of 13, 14 million, which is bananas.
Well, and that's the thing is, right? Like, let's look at this from a perspective of salary cap. What's salary cap this year? 83 million?
Something like that.
So 82 or 83 million. 14 million a year. Is he playing every shift? Do they just put him on the ice and say, okay, when you drop, we'll give you an IV? Do you skate with an IV? Like, at what point does this become stupid? You cannot have somebody taking up argumentatively 1/8 of your salary cap and be competitive. It's done.
Great. Yep.
So
now I get it. He's a guy who scored 60 goals. They're predicting he could have 65 this year, depending on health, of course, and injury. But still, he's not worth that kind of money.
I'm not even just talking about Austin Matthews. We're talking, I'm still on the, even with McDavid and McKenna. Okay, like, you can't have this. Like, you can't do this. Not when there's a hockey fan aspect, okay, which we're both hockey fans. We're also people who are involved in the hockey community, both with calling and research and everything else. So from the backside, the business side of hockey, I look at it and say, knowing what the fiscal report is for the hockey season for the next 3 years, there's not going to be a tremendous jump in salary cap. So we're not going to have that big boost. We're not going to get to 90 million. Even if you do, so what? You still can't pay somebody $15 million at a 90. It just doesn't make sense to do it. If any team has still shown us anything, it's the fact that you can have two superstars making X amount of millions of dollars, 10, 11 million bucks a piece. And then your profile players around them that are getting their $5 to $6 million and then their $2 to $3 million. You have to have that basis. However, you have to have an amazing goaltender. And this gets to a place where I think it's short-sighted sometimes. It's like when you and I were joking around about the fantasy league, and I said, I would take a goalie first round, and you laughed. And I was like, you don't have a good goaltender. Now, it's not true in fantasy per se. It's true in the real world. But if you don't have the number 1, number 2, number 3 goaltender, chances are you're not going all the way. Now, I'm not saying that that's definitive, because you could have the best defense in the world in front of a mediocre goaltender and go. Just watch the Avalanche this year. Georgiev sucks. So, it's really just one of those things where I personally think 12.6 for McKenna, they overpaid in my opinion. Now, let's put this in perspective. What's Panarin making? 11 million, 11.2.
something like that. He's up there.
And Zach McKenna is making more than Antemi Panarin. He's making more than Mika Zibanejad. He's making more than every player in the league, right? Is he better than those players? I'm sorry, I can't get there. Now, as you said, $14 million for Austin Matthews. So what is Connor McDavid going to ask for? $20 million?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I mean, you're MacKinnon is definitely one of those top 5 in the league, right?
Totally agree.
MacKinnon, Matthews, McDavid, Draisaitl even maybe. But yeah, how can you front a team when you're giving a guy that much money? Yes, you're playing a gamble that the salary cap is going to go up, but it's not going to go up that much to make a difference.
No.
Listen, in today's day and age, Josh, what's going on? We're talking about a situation where what the cap is, we have half our roster or salary cap tied up in 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah.
That's why we're going and we're signing guys for $750,000, $1 million. Are you going to have a solid 3rd and 4th line? No, you're hoping they just don't give up a whole lot of goals.
What about injury?
Well, then you kind of get screwed. You kind of hope if someone's going to go down, they go down for a long time, so you get that long-term IR cap relief.
And you can get the cap relief, but that's the point, though. But oh, by the way, long-term injury means seriously hurt. Can they recover and be the same player they were? So it's a double-edged sword that I would sit there and say, you're 1,000% on point. It's like when you're signing entry-level contracts or bringing up AHLers, they're not ready. And so what do you have? You have 1.5 lines that are really good, and then 2 lines that can be beaten by a college hockey team. And it's like, this is where that incredible goaltender has to come in. It's where if you're playing 6D and you don't have that 7th, you better hope that they can play 80 games with no problem and not get hurt and everything else that goes along with it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I've never understood this. Throw the money at one person and do what they're doing. I can't get there.
Yep, for sure. And Jansen thinks Matthews is going to be gone at the end of the year. Are we going to see that Keith Tkachuk situation that Calgary just went through where they have to make some kind of a miracle trade? Now, Calgary recovered from it. They bring over Huberdeau, who wanted nothing to do with Calgary. We thought this is going to be the biggest bust. They were able to, repair that and ultimately sign him. And then they went out and got Kadri and kind of said, see you later, Tkachuk. Look what we've done. And they've kind of solved some issues there. But that doesn't happen every day. There isn't a Nazem Kadri that you can sign to fill in some of that grit every day. Well, so if you lose Matthews, that's a whole lot of offense. And it's not just him, right? He makes Michael Bunting that much player. He makes Mitch Marner that much better. So you take him out, those 2 players drop down, and now you have a pretty big issue.
Well, I'll point out something that you're going to sit there and go, that's valid. So Hoopastank is making what, $8 million, and Kadri's making $7 million. So you got Hoopastank at $8 million, you got Kadri at $7 million, you got $15 million between the 2 of them. Austin Matthews is going to want $14-15 million. That's one player versus 2 incredibly solid people, one of which actually both are first-round draft picks. And
Huberdeau was top 3 in scoring with a NHL record in assists last year, and Nazem Kadri, I think, was 6th in scoring, if I'm not mistaken.
So how is one guy worth 14, yet 2 players are worth 15? And by the way, aren't you much better off having the 2 player setup than you are the 1?
Hands down.
So I have a hard time with some of this garbage that's going on. I know that it's literally, look, it's the way it's going to be. And I understand that it's professional sports. I mean, the one that I always make fun of the most is NFL. NFL, obviously I'm a huge Giant fan, but the NFL has a glaring problem the NHL doesn't have. The NHL can reach down at any time to their AHL team, put somebody on a taxi squad, pull them up, do what they need to do, adjust. They have players that are playing in their system. NHL has a practice squad where you can poach players all day long. So, like, if I lose a player, I can go poach a practice squad off anybody's practice squad. They're not up to speed on our game. They're not playing full rounds. They're not playing in a league. But they pay these guys an enormous amount of money. And a hockey player, like, just to kind of give Keith Yandle another little, accolade, guy broke his jaw in a game. And he kept playing. They put a face shield on and he played the rest of the game. Football player gets turf toe. He's out for a month and a half. Okay. It's like, we're not talking about the same caliber of players. And in this sense, it's really just one of those things where I really just don't understand how the NHL is operating like this. I always kind of sat there and said, yeah, there's got to be a couple superstars that stand out there, but they can't take up 1/8 or even a quarter of your salary. You just can't do it. It just doesn't make any sense. So we'll see how that unfolds this year.
Talking about all these big guys and their big salaries and whatnot, there's one guy that's been in the news a whole lot, causing a whole lot of confusion, and that's Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane, right now, we don't know what he's going to do. He's set to start training camp with Chicago. Apparently, Chicago has said they're going to put him on a line with Domi to kind of start camp and see if they can develop a chemistry together. But there have been some media personalities in Toronto, and I'm trying to scroll through and find the Twitter. They've been tweeting saying it's pretty much a done deal, that for a deal including Kane and Nylander going the other way with some other pieces. Obviously, very conflicting reports out of both cities. Who the hell knows,
dude,
what this is going to be?
First of all, what's up, Theo, Sam Eagle, and Anonymous? Thank you for the $1. We appreciate you. So what I would say to you is yes, this Kane thing, because you hear these huge reports one way, you hear they're going down this. I'm telling you right now, you couldn't have a bigger distraction in that locker room if you tried, and it's absolutely going to affect their play. And let's just say this. It's Max Domi. We're not talking about like a hockey player. We're talking about a Keith Tkachuk wannabe, and it just isn't there. And like, the best thing that could happen to Patrick Kane, and if I were him, I would force the hand and say, "Look, I'm not starting the season. I don't want to be here. Like, this isn't what I want. I don't want to play with this group of people. I was supposed to be part of a rebuild, and now you're rebuilding 3.0. We're past 2.0. It's time to let me go and play somewhere." If I were him, I would do it. The Rangers just had this with Lindquist, where he sat there and said, "I'm not coming to camp. I don't want to be here. I asked for a trade last year." He made it over. I think it was to Dallas for first rounder. And that's the thing is like, it's Patrick Kane. I mean, it shouldn't be this hard to get this guy dealt. It's a salary cap issue.
Jesus. Sorry. So something was going on.
I'm like, they're aliens? What happened?
Should I not be saying that name, Patrick Kane, anymore? Wow. But it'll be interesting. I mean, yes, huge distraction for Chicago. I mean, they're saying what any team needs to say. We're not having these conversations. We're nowhere near a deal. They're starting camp. It is what it is. But we all know there's stuff going on. This is going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
So, hang on. We got a chat question I got to bring up. So, Mike wants to know how we came up with those fancy nicknames. So,
well,
how did you come up with your fancy nickname, the Natural Sam?
So, it's actually a funny story. I don't even remember what we were doing. We were out with a couple of friends one day, and we were talking. Maybe I was telling dad jokes. Maybe we were goofing around. I don't even know. But one half of the couple we were out with turned around and very sarcastically said, "Oh, Sam, you're such a natural." And it kind of stuck. And this is right when the song Natural came out.
I feel pretty.
I feel pretty. I'm a natural, not blonde. And no, that's how it came out. We were just having some fun one day, and someone made a sarcastic comment. Sam, you're so natural, and it kind of stuck.
I'm naturally bald. So Bear Shark came around. It's actually quite a funny, quick story. The Bear Shark came out a bunch of years ago. It was something that was said in passing. It never really took off or stuck. It stuck because I had made a joke about it on a Disney live stream, because we're Disney live streamers when I'm not doing this, obviously. And what was really funny about it was Bella, my daughter, had sat down to eat a sandwich. And she was sitting in between Jen and myself. We were in Hollywood Studios. And some guy was a little too wasted, tried to step over me and step on my child. Well, you can clearly see on the live stream as he Superman through the air, because I grabbed him by the back of his belt loop and the back of his shirt and threw him. And we're in the middle of a live stream. And here I'm supposed to be this nice guy that's talking Disney, and I'm tossing people around Disney World. And I was very aggravated by it. Obviously, the guy he would have really hurt my daughter. So we got up and we kind of moved to another area. And while I was venting, my wife made the comment and I made a comment, and it kind of stuck in the stream. Bear and shark, bears protect their young. Sharks are the most fearsome predators in the world, and I don't fly. So bear, shark stuck again. This time it took off, and it's just how it went. So that's how we got our names, everybody. The Natural Sam, who's just a natural at what he does, and me, I protect my family and eat people, apparently. But anyway.
So true. LJ, welcome in. MJ, welcome in as well. Yes, if that is the deal on the table, I sign off, give my stamp of approval, get her done. Nylander, Sandin, and a first for Kane, 50% retained. I would do that with the expectation that Kane agrees to sign and stay in Toronto. I would not do that if he's a 1 year in and out player. I would, if you took away the first, if you just said Nylander and Sandin for Kane, and we don't know if he stays or not, I'm okay with that. If he signs a contract to remain in Toronto, then I throw the first in.
Here's what I'll one up you, because there's something that in Rangers town is being discussed right now, because we're also a player in the Kane card, and it's very quiet because not many people are really doing this. But since the Lindquist, excuse me. I always call him Lindquist. We gained another first rounder. That means we have 2 first rounds. There has been the discussion of, because we have a tremendous amount of talent down in AHL town, could we give up a now player, a first rounder, and a prospect with that 50% retention, because the Rangers need that 50% retention this year. In a year and a half, we won't. But right now we do. So if that happened, the Rangers actually become a contender for Kane as well, which he was linked to us and said he wanted to play in Ranger Town. So there is still the potential that happens. The question is, do they do it before the season, or is it a trade deadline? So who knows? Jeannie, hello there. Welcome in. Just to kind of throw it out there, like, you're not wrong with him not having that long-term deal locked down. The question is, again, what's he going to ask for? Since we're talking about all this cap money, what's he think he worth? Let's ask you. What do you think he's worth? Is he worth 8, 10, 12, 14 million?
Yeah, I kind of put him in that 7.5 category. He's getting about 6.5 now, so I give him the 1 bump, put him at 7.5. Kind of hoping I would go in with the initial proposal at 7, wanting to go, with the flexibility to go to 7.5. Knowing you're going to come to Toronto, you're going to have a damn good chance of making a serious run.
How many years?
Maybe that's enough. I'll take.
You going to go 7-7?
Kane, no, I would go 4. I would go 4 years. If he wanted to stay long term, absolutely 7 or 8, whatever you want. But I would kind of go in there with a softball, medium term, in case he decides, listen, he wants to go play somewhere else for his final couple of years before he retires. So I would go 4 years. 7 million with flexibility to go up to 7.5.
Yeah. So my deal, I come in somewhere pretty similar, except I come at him with a 6-year deal. Show him that I want him to be a Ranger for a while, especially since I know where my team's at with who's going to have to be re-signed. Chris Kreider's going to go away in a couple of years. I don't want him to, but that's just the nature of the business. At some point, I got to be addressing Mika Zibanejad and Temi Panarin. So if I have him coming up in the ranks, I'm good with a 6 to 7 year deal. I probably start in that 7 to 7.5 million range. I'd probably go as high as 8, simply because of what he brings and the long term ability of that deal. So I think we're both in the same ballpark with what we think he's worth. Now, if he signs somewhere else, let's find out how close we are. We've been pretty good at this, though.
Yeah, we've been pretty close within within a few dollars.
Except on anything that has to do with the Penguins. I've been wrong on every one of them because they're stupid.
Yeah. So that's kind of it for a lot of what we saw in the big rumors this week, or over the last couple of days. Actually, now that camps are getting started, there's a few key things that have come out as players kind of going through their physicals today. Yesterday was golf tournament day, so everyone was out hitting the links, and today was physical day. So a couple key notes, key players that I was able to pull up just before we came on. And actually, before I skip ahead to that, one final note on the Kane deal, talking about Sandin and Nylander. In case you didn't know, Nylander and Sandin have the same agent. So if you're working this deal, it's very easy because you're only involving the one agent. Plus, Sandin is holding out for a contract extension or a contract right now.
There you go.
He's pulling the same shtick he did with Nylander a couple of years back. So this could all set up very nicely to go in a fresh start with that. Anyways, I just wasn't sure if folks knew they had the same agent.
Well, but you're not wrong, because it does make it a lot easier to say, hey, guys, look, I got this deal done. You guys are going to go together. Here's what's going to happen. I mean, but the other side of it is, when you have a limited trade clause like Kane does, like he's only said I'll go to a couple teams. Josh put in there Kane would be better in Toronto than New York. I don't know that that's actually accurate. I mean, in all actuality, both teams are set for a run. The one area where we're lacking and you guys are a little bit better off would be on the blue line. However, goaltending, we're way better than you are. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, it just comes down to there's a really big unknown for me for the Rangers this year. We let a lot of people walk. So we have a lot of holes where talent needs to go in. He could easily come in, play on the second line with no problem. Our third line, we would be rolling top 3 lines. That would be incredible. Our fourth line, well, as long as Ryan Reeves plays, sucks. So, but I mean, we would have top 3 lines that would be rolling that are almost where your second and third line are almost equally as good as one another. So it would be really interesting to see. But you bring up a good point when you have an agent that's working 2 guys at once, because it's easy to work that GM and say, hey, well, look, I've got these 2. We throw in that. We're good to go to make it happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
For sure. All right. Here are some interesting things to note. Of course, starting with the blue and white. Timothy Liljegren, who is supposed to be our savior with Sandin being out, Liljegren is going to be out for at least 6 weeks to start the season. He just had hernia surgery on Friday. So Liljegren, he's a guy up and coming, a lot of potential, but just had some injury issues. So he's going to be out for 6 weeks. Pierre Engvall, who we also, put a couple of dollars into, he is going to be out for the start of training camp. He sustained a foot injury while training in Sweden in the offseason. So he'll be reevaluated the week of October 3rd. So he's going to be out a little bit. Andrew Cobb, one of the folks that you guys let go. Cobber, he's going to be out for training camp and could miss the start of the regular season. He had abdominal surgery in the offseason.
Did you hear what happened to him at the end of the playoffs?
No, just he was not comfortable.
He played with a ripped core muscles.
Oh, my God.
Could you imagine playing through the playoffs with ripped core muscles? He did. Apparently, it was his choice to play. And he played, and he did some serious damage to himself. And, this is kind of what I go back to. Here's a guy who gave his heart and soul. He did this, and what happens? Rangers let him walk. There's just no loyalty anymore. Kind of really bothered me. And then the other person that's not going to be ready for a long time is Brad Marchand, which, by the way, we all know how much I love Brad Marchand. So I couldn't be happier that maybe he won't come back.
Yes, the Bruins are going to be without a handful of people for about 4 to 6 months. So Going to be very interesting times there. The other kind of two notables I had, Mike Smith, the Edmonton goalie, actually failed his physical.
I didn't know that.
This is just breaking news. Failed his physical, and he's going to be placed on long-term IR, is what Ken Holland said. So
who's their goalie?
I don't know. That's
we're 2 weeks away from the start of the season. It's like long-term IR failing your that's. I mean, you talk about not being specific.
If Phil Kessel can pass his physical every year, eating all those hot dogs, anybody should be able to pass a physical.
Doesn't that bring up a really good question? It's like, you failed your physical. Like, weren't you just playing 2 months ago?
Yeah.
So
they have Jack Campbell was their big signing, right, to come in. And their backup is now going to be their draft pick, Stuart Skinner.
I can't believe I just made that noise, but like, all due respect, dude, you just went from being a semi-decent team to your draft pick is now your backup. Spectacular. This is why I like being a Ranger fan. Do you know how many AHL goaltenders we have right now that are NHL ready? I have like 3 of them. Why do you think they gave up Georgiev? They were like, sure, you want him? Okay, great, fantastic. You can have the trash. But wow. So AAU asked a question to me, which is, what are your opinion on prospect tournament and anyone catching your eye? So all right, full disclosure, I don't watch other people's teams. So I really didn't watch anyone else. I've been watching the Rangers, and to be honest with you, I'm not seeing anything I don't expect. On prospect tournaments, when you're talking about Traverse City, I kind of already knew what we were getting. The one that I'm really looking at right now is we had a first rounder. He's actually trying to make the team. That would be really cool if that happened. It hasn't happened in a while for the Rangers, in the sense of making the team, not just earning it, like being the first or second round draft pick, like Elias Anderson, who was a bust. And for whatever reason, I can't think of his name right now, Lafreniere. Lafreniere has turned out to be, he's okay. He's not superstar status. He's okay. He's getting better. I'm always in favor of player development over coming right into the league. You've got to be something special to come right in. Other than that, I think you should always take that first year in the AHL. First of all, you're underdeveloped. You would have to almost be one of the Russian robots where you've been juiced for the last 10 years in order to come in and have that Ovechkin type status where you're, if he does, he does. And that's where it should be. They should go play in the AHL. They should learn that system. They should get hit harder. College hockey and East Coast hockey leagues and things like that do not play the same schedules. They don't play as long. So you should have to try and get that scheduling in and play more often. I think it has to do with condition, and I think it has to really kind of try and pick things up a little bit. Bernie DC is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. We have hockey royalty. Welcome in.
Bernie, what's going on?
So,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so when it comes to prospect teams, look, it's kind of like when the KHL plays the KHL. If the best of the KHL were to come play the best in the NHL, I don't think it goes that well. It's like anything else, but you also have different sets of rules, different size arenas. Some of these guys play overseas. So there's a lot to be contended with when you're moving over from that to, and argumentatively, the best league in the world. So you're playing Canadians, you're playing Europeans, you're playing Americans. This is the highest level. That's why they get paid $12 million, $15 million a year. So I would say to you this, there's a lot of really good prospects out there, but they got to go through the process. It's super important that they do it. It's not like in the NFL when they come out of college and they're ready to go, and that they can just pop into a system because they have limited years before they get hurt and worn through. Anyway, onward.
Yes, a couple of prospects. I got to watch a couple of teams from our league there that we called. A couple of guys that really stood out to me. First on Toronto on defense, William Villeneuve and Philip Kral, both really impressed me. One of the forwards on Toronto that was unbelievable in the tournament was SDA, because I can't pronounce his name. Simeon Argachintsev. He was really, really good. He was just fun to watch. On Detroit, their goaltender, Sebastian Cossa, was ridiculous. He was so good. So he really, really stood out, impressed me. Of course, Donovan Sabrango, who we saw in the World Juniors, looked really solid as well. Over on the Blues, the other team we saw, Blues looked good as well. Will Cranley, their goaltender we saw, was lights out. He was incredible. And the Blues had a number of prospects. Matt Kessel on defense there looked pretty good. Jake Neighbors was stellar. So there was a lot of good prospects there, a lot of good stuff coming up. And of course, one of my favorites watching him play, we have a Chara in the making in the Toronto farm system. Curtis Douglas, 6'9", 238 pounds. He is a forward, and man, he looks like a beast. The problem he's going to have, though, every time he goes to hit somebody, he's going to get called for those headshots just because of his size.
And it's unfortunate because when I was reading about Chara retiring, and they were saying about the fact that he's 6'9" and this and that, he's argumentatively the tallest player and blah, blah, blah. We saw in the draft this year, and you and I were talking about it before the draft actually went through, that there weren't a lot of, taller, bigger players. And what happened this year? We saw like 4 of them get drafted. And I think you're starting to see some of those mutant genetics come into the league now, and we're going to start seeing some of these taller guys. But can you imagine what was his weight on that 6'9" to what?
235, I think. And he's going to put on 20 or 30 pounds of muscle over a couple of years.
So you figure if he turns out to be 250 at that, and Gator just put in her Sasquatch. Yeah, can you imagine one of these 5'10", $190 kids? You get hit by that. You're like, I'm sorry, they could just back the ambulance right onto the ice and just take you off because you're done. It depends on how much, like Chara. I used to say this jokingly. It's not that he didn't hit, and it's not that he couldn't fight. The reason he could fight well was because it was like getting punched with a mop handle. Like he could hit you from halfway across the ice. It was almost like playing Street Fighter. But he wasn't overly aggressive. He wasn't overly tough. He didn't go into the boards hard. Could you imagine a 6'9", 250-pound guy who did? Like, dude, you could break the glass with your hip.
It's going to be amazing. I mean, obviously, I doubt he makes the team this year. But we're going to see him. He's on the preseason roster, so we're going to get to see him play some of these other NHL guys. So that'll
be fun to watch, though. Like, and those are the type of things that I'm looking forward to. Is preseason to me, it's not like preseason football. Preseason football is like a balancing act of trying not to get your players hurt. When it comes to hockey, it's like, let's see what we got, so that we can assign our AHLs and do what we're doing. I think it's a lot more like chess when we're playing hockey than it is, for anything else. I really like how the whole thing is going. So, dude, it's exciting. It's a week away. Like we're down to a couple of sleeps and the season starts.
Mike put in as well. Ivan. He was impressive in the World Juniors. He looked okay from what we saw over in this prospect tournament. So it'll be interesting to see how he does there. Couple other one big key notable who's not going to be in the lineup for opening day of training camp is Jason Robertson, Nick Robertson's brother, who's just been lighting it up in Dallas. He is currently sitting with no contract. So Jason Robertson will not be playing until he gets.
Well, he needs to get a snake like Jake the Snake Robertson. Sorry, couldn't help it.
One of the other things that's interesting going into training camp, which is now officially underway, are all these professional tryouts that are going on. And I went through the list and I jotted down a handful or maybe a couple handfuls of names of people that I was like, really? They don't have a contract? They're going in on a PTO. So we have Artem Anisimov, who is with the Flyers on a professional tryout.
I'll take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Zach Austin Reese in Toronto on a PTO, which you're telling me no one's offering this guy a small contract. Derek Brassard is PTO with the Senators,
which he's been with the Senators for like a decade.
Yeah, Alex Chason, and blast from the past. I can't believe of all the teams to go to on a PTO, he's with the Arizona Coyotes. I mean, if you can't get a contract with the Coyotes, why even go PTO?
What you do is you call Jaromir Jagr and ask him if he's hiring.
Yeah, maybe if he goes to the Coyotes, he gets season tickets as part of his salary.
Yeah, but they only give him 2 because they can't spare them.
Yeah, that's right. Michael Del Cole is PTO with the Senators. He's a guy. What was he? Was it the Islanders he came in on? I don't remember which team he drafted on, but just hadn't amounted to anything. And we're finding him on a PTO. Calvin DeHaan, PTO with the Hurricanes. Danny DeKeyser, PTO with the Canucks. Jason Demers, and this one bothers me. Jason Demers, he was such a good defenseman. I really liked him. Thank you, Bernie, the Islanders. Jason Demers, PTO with the Oilers. Calgary, the sneaky Calgary Flames, grabbing Sonny Milano on a PTO. That could work out to be a huge, huge deal for them if they can sign him. So much potential. James Neal, PTO with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Like, I would give you a contract. Yeah, he's not going to score like he used to, but he's still a little grinder.
Now,
he'd be a great third or fourth line
with
player.
everything that you're talking about. Now, listen to the player. Like, you just rattled off a whole handful of players. The Rangers, in their great wisdom, who did we bring in for a PTO? We brought in
Jimmy Vesey.
We brought in Jimmy Vesey, which, by the way,
draft him?
What's that?
Didn't you draft him?
We didn't draft him. We brought him in from like, he didn't want to play for somebody. We wound up bringing him in. He wound up coming in. He sucks. Okay, I hate Jimmy Vesey. He's got resting bitch face. I can't stand him. Okay, like,
oh yeah, we had him in Toronto for a bagel and a coffee.
No, yeah, you know what? And you probably got ripped off. So then the Rangers go ahead and go, hey, let's bring in Matt Bartkowski. What? With what's available out there? Like, first of all, Derek Brassard is a very, very good player. Good third liner. He's solid as a rock. I don't even remember who you said before that, but I was like, he was whoever's over at Philadelphia. Artemi why can't I think of? I want to call him Nemchenko. It's not. It's Anisimov. Anisimov was a Ranger. Went to Tampa. Yep. Okay, I would bring him back in a heartbeat. He is. You talk about a heart and soul player. He's the kind of guy who'll go out there and sacrifice his body. He's a Jesper Fast. And I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, we bring in Jimmy Vesey, who I wouldn't give you a bag of pucks for. And then Bartkowski, who it's like, blue liner? Like, really? Like, that's what you could come up with? You couldn't go to Keith Yandle and keep him over this clown? Like, right? You know what I mean? Like, this is kind of what I was talking about before with, sometimes you just sit there and you scratch your head, but you started the segment off perfectly with, this is really where, like, why are some of these guys sitting out there? Like, you said Han's out there as well, Dehan.
Yeah.
He's back with Carolina again.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't get it. And all it has to do with is it has to do with this cap crap. And it goes back to what we were saying before about how these players, there's no reason for this, for the amount of money. And, since we have Bernie here, I want to go back to something we talked about last week and just see, because we didn't have Bernie in the house. And I know that when it comes to salary cap, he's pretty versed on what's what. Bernie, maybe you know the answer to this with in regards to how the Coyotes affect the salary cap, because obviously it has to do based with seats, revenue, ad revenue, all of those things. And are they affecting the cap revenue at the same rate with only having a 5,000 seat stadium, or do they count equally in that cap? Because if so, they're really affecting the NHL in a negative way, in my opinion. So it's really just one of those things where Tampa bringing back $2.5 million. Okay, so that makes sense. I think Tampa should bring him back, and that's a lot of money, though. So
it's good for him that he's really developed over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the thing is like, I just wonder about the way that caps are situated. PTOs are happening right now. It seems like to take the worst term ever coined on this show, that the league is a little loosey goosey. in the sense of how things are rolling through. Like it just, to me, there's just not a lot there. Like there's some really good talent on that PTO, and why players are walking away without minimum deals, I don't get it.
Yeah. Oh, well, listen, here's the last couple names I jotted down. You want a grinder, you want tough stuff. The Flyers bring in Antoine Roussel on PTO. Like, how is there? I get it. We're moving away from fighting. But if you have some of these superstars, you need somebody who's there to stick up for them. So Roussel, PTO.
They can
Eric
have
Stahl,
Reeves.
Yeah. I would take Roussel over Reeves any day of
Me
the
too.
week. Eric Stahl getting a PTO in Florida. Derek Stepan in Carolina. We talked about VC.
How is Derek Stepan on a PTO?
I know.
Talk about
right?
a fall from grace.
It's crazy. And then the Oilers, and this is very questionable and controversial signing. They signed Jake Virtanen to a PTO deal to have him come in. Now, the story with Virtanen, he was with Vancouver and he was axed really quickly among some inappropriate harassment charges, shall we say. Anyways, the case was thrown out. He was found innocent, but there was still that stigma, right, of going through that and being accused of such criminal acts. But the Oilers look past it and they sign him to a PTO and going to see what he can do.
Derek Stepan blows my mind. Fallen Grace Ranger, phenomenal player, heart and soul. Where did he go? Coyotes. It's like it makes it. There's a couple of these guys where it's like, you know what? They were a part of some great teams. They're great players. Derek Stepan blows my mind. That's another one that should have come back home and had a PTO at the Rangers. I would have brought him in over some of the scrubs that we have at the moment. Again, Matt Bartowski is PTO'd, and so is Jimmy Vesey. So no. And but Bernie goes ahead and answers the question that, after one more $1 million increase to the cap next season, could be looking at a bump in 2024-25 season, regardless of Arizona with their 5,000 seats. And it's good to hear it, but at the same time, it's like literally coming out of COVID and having one arm tied behind your back. It's unfortunate because we are trying to still put together and bring fans back and do what we're doing. What's up, Brian? And do the things that we need to do, but you're limiting what we can do, on the business aspect. So I guess it is what it is. So,
all right. Question time, because it's about that time.
All right. Hold on a second. Question time. Let's bring in our sponsor for question time. Ready? Hold on one second. Sponsored by
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like.
Cloud9 Getaways, sponsoring question time and our draft as well. So we'll get there in a minute. But go ahead, Sammy, take it away.
All right, here we go. And everybody in the chat, you can answer this as well.
It's not in our chat.
So
MJ's
here we go.
No, not in our chat.
Oh, I'll get it for you. So here we go. In your opinion, out of the players I'm going to list, because you could technically throw in a player not on the list.
Oh no, it's Sandbag Dave. I forgot. Crap. Damn it. I walked right into this one.
Who is the greatest Swedish player to play in the NHL?
Mark Knopfler.
He's not on my list. Matt Sundin, Daniel Alfredsson, Boreas Salming, Henrik Zetterberg, Nick Lidstrom, or one of the Sedins.
Oh, God, you're killing me. You put the three people in there I thought of. Like, you're like, because all of a sudden you were like, Zetterberg. I'm like, it's him. And then you were like, let me throw in a couple more that are really going to do it. So I would have went with either Sundin or Zetterberg, and crap. Who came after Zetterberg? Lidstrom.
After Lidstrom, yeah. So I think in my opinion, we take the Sedins out of that equation because they're not even comparable to the rest of them.
I'm gonna say I'm still going with Zetterberg.
That's a good choice. So
It's not him though.
I had it. Well, there's no right answer, right? There's no right answer.
Zetterberg was tremendous though for Detroit. He was so good.
He really was. And when I first read this list, that's kind of my mind went Zetterberg or Sundin because they're 70-point guys, ripping it up, led their teams, did amazing things. But then I kind of took a step back. And what Daniel Alfredsson did in Ottawa with nobody, yes, he had Jason Spezza for a while, but Spezza was Alfredsson was right up there.
I agree.
And then I kind of said, you know what? Of this list, to me, it's a trick question. Boreas Solming to come in and do what he did when he played kind of the 70s and the 80s as a defenseman, different game, different time period. That's kind of my pick. I think Solming is the best one to play because of how different the game was back then.
So the question was what exactly? Who's the best?
Who is the greatest Swede to play in the NHL?
Henrik Lundqvist.
He's not on the list.
I'm just telling you. You asked who's the best. He's the best. But with who you named, I'm still going to go with Zetterberg because at the end of the day, look how many cups they brought over there. That team, when you put Pavel Datsyuk, Zetterberg, you had Kronwall, you had. I'm sorry that the Detroit Red Wings of that period were incredible. That was an amazing team. Zetterberg led the way. In every way. He was a hockey player on and off the ice. I think that he did things for the city of Detroit that were just tremendous. So that's going to be my pick.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Like I said, you can't go wrong with any of those names unless you choose a Sedin.
Slap. You have been Sam slapped.
So yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to finish off tonight. Throw out a fun little question there. And by the way, if you weren't here earlier, with Chara retiring, there's no active NHL players who have lost a playoff series to the Maple Leafs. Just had to reiterate that for my own.
The crowd agrees. So, at the end of the day, I think we're just happy hockey's back. So let's switch gears for a second because we also have something else that we're doing. We're going to be doing our fantasy league. So why don't you tell everybody about the fantasy league? You've got it all together. We're going to start getting it out there for everybody. But take it away. Tell everybody what's going on with that because it's also sponsored by Cloud9 Getaway, and we'll kind of get into some of that as we go through it.
Sure. So yeah, we have a little fantasy coming up, fantasy hockey, just to clarify. That is going to be coming up. It is going to be a live draft. We're going to be doing it through Yahoo. It's all set up. The draft is going to take place Wednesday, October 19th at 7:30 live. We're going to do it on YouTube. So how it works is when you're eligible to enter and come in and you join the league, you're going to be able to pre-rank your players, set up your whole draft strategy, all that fun stuff. So if you cannot attend to actually make your selections live, it will auto draft for you in the order that you set and how you rank your players. If you are able to attend the draft, it'll be awesome because we're going to do it live and we're going to have a whole lot of fun doing it. It's going to go through, you are going to have, I believe, what did I set it to? 1 minute and 45 seconds or something like that to make your pick. If you don't make it in the allotted time slot, it will skip to the player that you have kind of at the top of your pre-ranked lists and select for you. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun. It is going to be a season-long draft, a rotisserie style. So there's a bunch of different point categories, and where you are within that point category determines how many points you get, and the total overall points will be the winner. And the winner of this draft is going to take home a mighty fine prize. Would you like to share, to break the news? No,
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
So you guys, we gave a little sneak peek to it before. Cloud9 Getaway, I made a video for them. It will be a trip for 4 to Las Vegas. So we're going to have an excellent prize for you guys. I have been talking with Chris about upping the ante a little bit. We'll probably also include for the winter, because when you go out there, we want to make sure that you're representing. So we're probably going to have some custom t-shirts made for all four. It'll probably be even strength shirts. It'll have Sam's logo. It'll have the FPEN Sports logo on there as well, so that when you go out there, we're also going to ask that you do, something like go up to the top of maybe Mandalay Bay or, the Luxor or something, take pictures of, holding up some even strength gear. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We're putting together that prize package as we speak. It's $50 entry fee for the slot, if I remember correctly, because Sam is participating. I am not. I will operate as an out of the league commissioner, meaning the fact that I am not actually involved, so that there's no like Sam can't win in the sense of he just can't bully his way through it because I won't let him. But then that leaves 19 available slots. We've already had 3 that are full, so it should leave about 16 slots available. So we're going to be getting that all signed up for everybody. It'll be a lot of fun. You'll have plenty of time to book your travel. We'll be talking to you guys about how that works, but it's a trip for 4 to Las Vegas, hotel accommodations on the Strip. It's going to be kind of amazing. So it'll be a lot of fun.
That's pretty cool. For where else for $50 can you get a 1 in 19 shot at getting some hotel in Vegas? That's crazy.
It really is that good, because as you just heard what he said, he didn't say 1 in 20. It's 1 in 18, 1 in 19, because at the end of the day, Sam can't win. He's participating because we have to have somebody who runs the league play. And lastly, at the end of the day, Sam, loves hockey, does his thing. I wanted to remain completely objective, so that this way there's no impropriety whatsoever. So that this way, he can't trade for like Wayne Gretzky and bring him back, reincarnated and, things like that. So it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to have all of those details active shortly. One of the things that we'll also do is I'll make sure that we have, once Sam and I finish rules and everything on it, which will happen this week, we'll get that put up, and then I will make sure that it goes up on my website. It'll be on floridaparkexplorers.com. I will put together a fantasy league page so that this way all of the rules will be spelled out, so there's no ifs, ands, or buts or questions. And then there'll be the link to PayPal to pay in to get your spot reserved. And Sam will handle literally everything when it comes to how the league runs. I'll be there for draft night. We're going to have a lot of fun doing this. We definitely welcome you guys in to do it. Can we hire him to do our picks?
Gator, it might not help because I've done a hockey pools for many years and sadly have not finished in the money. So I don't think it would help. No Truth Rumor says fantasy team
play. Just for that, I think I have to go buy a mullet wig. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
We should say, just to clarify with the entry fee, $50 US dollars, because I know we have some folks from Canada in here, and if you're thinking about it, we know with the conversion, it's just a couple of bucks on top, but just wanted to clarify. Yep. But we'll get all the information. We'll put a little sheet together, and we'll make sure it's posted everywhere.
It'll be posted for Sam on his community page. We'll post it on our community page. It'll be up on my website, so that this way there's 50 pesos. I wish. So apparently I was told I was worth $1 million pesos, which turned out to be something like $56,000. So no. But basically, that's the way that the whole thing's going to go. And we'll have that up and running for you all. You can always reach out to Sam on his IG. You can reach out to Florida Park Explorers IG. That's me. Or you'll get Jen, one or the other. Either way, it doesn't matter. But I'll make sure that we have everything listed. And we're going to be doing this for years to come. We're going to have tons of this stuff going on. I will also tell you that our sponsor, I've spoken with them about doing monthly prizes. They won't be, necessarily Vegas trips, but we might do some smart devices. We might just do some things to keep it interesting so that you don't lose. It's a long season, and I mean, I think if somebody is just crushing it, I think it would be fun to up the ante a little bit. Plus, with the amount of merch that I have coming out from Florida Park Explorers and FPN, we're putting out Bear Shark merch, things like that. Sam and I'll come together. I've got a heat press machine sitting 4 feet from me. So for us to make a couple of shirts for you guys, if you're winning, or to taunt each other, or for your team names. We may do things like that. So just to have a little bit of extra fun with it. So anything else you can think of, Sammy?
No, I'm super excited. This weekend, this Saturday, it all starts. The madness starts, and we're getting mad with it because Saturday is all afternoon. It's doubleheader hockey, 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Leafs and Sens, doubleheader split squad game. It's going to be crazy.
Doubleheader. I can't, dude. You have no idea how jealous I am because I have to wait till Monday, and it's my birthday, and I can't call the game because we're going to be live in Match Kingdom. So, or wherever my wife tells me we're going for my birthday. I was just told that I'm wrong.
No,
so we'll be somewhere on Disney property.
There you go. So all I'll say is Saturday, come find us anytime, the afternoon and evening. Lock up your kids, call a babysitter, put on the computer or on your phone. Come join us. It's hockey time.
Oh. Did you hear those words, everybody? It's hockey time. It's time to get back. We've waited a long, long time for this to come out. But it is hockey time, everybody. Even Strength will be back. We may adjust our time because Sam and I have talked about the fact that one of us is going to have a game on during Wednesdays. So we may be adjusting it to a pregame show so that we get started before hockey games. The information is going to come out quite quickly. So, Wednesdays we might start at 6 o'clock. This way, when games roll at 7, we've got 45 minutes of pregame, and then we can go right into the games. That's something Sam and I are talking about, and we'll let you guys know as this kind of goes on. But anything, she can come in. It's okay. Anything else that you can think of, Sammy, other than it's hockey time starting Saturday?
It's hockey time. I'm going to go in my basement and start rifling pucks at my little mini net with my mini stick and just get ready to rumble.
Let's drop the gloves right now. Oof. Oof. Hey, that was a better fight than any Ryan Reeves fight this past year. Just figured I'd say that out loud.
I was gonna try and jersey you, grabbing the computer. Don't.
Shut your broadcast down.
I'm Mr. Incredible. So anyway, yeah, we're really looking forward to it, everybody. So stay tuned for fantasy this Saturday. Get over and support Sam. Get over and support. Did I say it enough? Get over and support Sam. Get over there, watch the games. He's going to be going nuts. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure, and please, please, please get your songs ready. The more disparaging, the better. We want to see him. Yesterday, he's saying, "I'm so pretty." Maybe we could get something like, I don't know, the theme song to Bodyguard, "I Will Always Love You." That would be a great choice. He wore a yellow polka dot bikini. That would be another great one. Under the Boardwalk would be pretty good.
I like that song.
I know, but I'd like to see, maybe get a little harmony going in between periods. Make sure that you pie him in the face.
Boardwalk.
So make sure you get him pied in the face. Make sure you're playing along. He has an excellent setup for what he does when it comes to crowd interaction. So make sure you go over support Sam this Saturday. Hockey season is back. Even Strength is back. We are back. It's ready to go. With that, anything else you got going on other than
Bernie?
Oh no! Oh, that's horrible. You know what? I may have to print that.
Bernie, it's okay. I'm going to get you a Washington Capitals number 8 jersey with Shalagrin on the back.
Now that's funny. Hey, put Samuel B12 on the back.
There you go.
I'll have to when we sign off. I'll have to show you. I found a great place for jerseys. Wait till I show you.
Everybody's on. It's
okay. Wait till I show you this, Sammy. With that, everybody, I am the Bear Shark. He is the natural Samuel B12. Please go over, support his channel. If you have not subscribed, hit subscribe. If you have not hit the like button, hit the like button for both channels. We stream on 2 different areas. Why? Because we can. So make sure that if you're watching on Team Replay, you drop a comment down below. Who's your team? Where are you watching from? And will you be joining us this year? So, Sam, anything else?
Can we fast forward? That's it. Unfortunately, there's 2 days to go. We've waited so many months, and it's down to the last 2 days. Who else is going to fail their medical exams? Their physical. let's wait and see who's going to actually show up on the ice.
And with that, we will see you guys Saturday. I will be in the chat with Sam as well. I may even make an intermission period, whatever appearance. That's what they're. Thank you, Jen. They're called appearances. I may force myself onto Sam's show. Anyway, with that, everybody, we will see you guys on Saturday. Go support Sam, and if not, we'll see you Monday. In between now and then, come join us at Florida Park Explorers. My wife is always on camera. It seems like she's there every day. Tomorrow she'll be back at Magic Kingdom. Come join us, and then, as always, come check out Bear Shark TV, where I rant, rave about literally everything. With that, everybody, we can't wait to see you guys back in hockey season.